If you're fighting over everything and feeling like you need to learn to communicate, you're not alone. I see this all the time in my work, but you're not fighting because you have a communication problem. You're fighting because you're not emotionally connected. You can't feel each other. And connection is a practice, not a conversation. When you're not in connection, whatever you're saying isn't being received the way that you want it to. One of you is over explaining, the other is overreacting, and then boom, you're in a fight. Not because you don't care, but because nothing causes more misunderstandings than words. Feels like anything you say can and will be held against you. And that's why every conversation turns into tension, a fight, or silence. You're walking on eggshells. But real connection is the unspoken understanding in the space between you. When you trust that you are emotionally safe enough to fully express yourself. And when that understanding is missing, no amount of talking is going to fix it. And that's why even little things like, can you take out the trash, turn into a fight. It's not the trash, that's just where the disconnection shows up. You're not broken. There's nothing to fix. You don't need therapy. You're not bad at communicating. What couples really need is a way to connect wordlessly, a shared practice that builds real understanding so that you trust that you are safe and loved, still part of the team in any mood, even when you disagree. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what emotional connection really means, why every little thing turns into a fight, and know exactly what to do to feel like a team without having to talk about it. I'm going to share a simple practice so that you can drop your walls and be on the same side again. Welcome. I'm Amy Keller. I coach intimacy as a skill and relationships as a team sport. I created the intimacy game plan where connection and intimacy is practiced, not just talked about. So if you're looking for real solutions for real intimacy in a real marriage, hit subscribe, hit notifications, give me a like, and let's get into it. Let me tell you about my clients. We'll call them Joe and Jane. When they came to me, they were tired of fighting. They were thinking it's about their communication, but the truth is they've been going to therapy for years, talking about their feelings. They understand that she's anxious. Great. They understand the problem. They've labeled it. She's anxious. Now what? They're still stuck. Nothing's changed. They're still at home. She's anxious and they're still fighting. Jane's trying to justify her feelings. She's arguing, she's defending and explaining herself. She's in her head searching for the right words that he might understand. Words aren't helping. You can't talk your way to connection. And Joe doesn't know what to do. He's tired of fighting. He feels like he can't win, so he withdraws. And that silence, that is making her feel nervous. It's triggering her anxiety. They're stuck in a loop. And this happens because it's human nature. When it feels like we're not on the same side, it feels like you're against me and the walls go up. So instead of connection and understanding, you're both feeling criticized, blamed. You're debating who's right, who's wrong, who wins, who loses. And the therapist was their referee. I'm a coach. I see both of you on the same team, but with different positions, different points of view, different languages, especially around your feelings, your moods, your needs. This is a clear example of how disconnection triggers that anxious avoidance cycle. You're two people with your nervous systems on high alert, so every little conversation triggers your nervous system. Jane would say to him, "Are we okay? I need a hug. I need a kiss." And Joe would shut down, not because he doesn't care, not because of the hug and the kiss, but because to him, she's so needy that it feels like nothing he does is ever going to be enough. He feels like he's not enough. And that's why he says that she's too much. They're both feeling alone and misunderstood, but they both want the same thing, to stop fighting so that they feel understood and loved. Create the connection that you can feel first. Talk later. My clients intentionally stop talking for like a week or so. They're avoiding triggering each other. Everything starts with a huddle. The huddle is a tool that helps you feel emotionally connected wordlessly. Why do we huddle? Because that's what teams do. Teams huddle to connect, and you're an intimacy team. The huddle is simple and profound. It takes 20 seconds. Do it with me. Put a palm on your chest to make the mind-body connection and answer these three little questions with a wordless huddle sound. Are you here? Are you okay? Are you willing? Mm-hmm. That's it. You did it. Joe and Jane said, "This feels awkward. This feels silly. This is never going to work." There's a lot of science behind the huddle. A lot of science is in my book, The Huddle: How to Score in Sex and Love. The huddle is your body's unspoken language of connection. It's awkward because it's more vulnerable than talking, it's more intimate than sex. Intimacy is something that you wouldn't share with just anybody. You are creating a private moment of connection that only the two of you share. So instead of talking about your feelings, you're feeling each other. You're not choosing your words. You're not explaining your emotions. You're emoting. The huddle expresses your emotional state of mind, your mood. Is it an mm-hmm or is it an mm-hmm? And now, when Jane is feeling anxious and she needs to feel him, she has a way to do it. "Joe, are you here?" And he says, "Uh-huh. I'm right here. Are you okay?" And without her having to go into a word spin, she responds, "Mm-hmm." This is a sound of two people attuning their nervous systems. They're not anxious and they're not avoiding each other. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The more you play with it, the easier it gets, and the more that you realize that the huddle was a tool that you didn't even know that you needed. So the next time that Joe, Jane, or you have a fight, huddle. Put a palm on your chest and huddle, because this keeps you connected with you. You are regulating your emotions so that you can stay present. And this is a cue to your partner that I'm here. I choose connection in any mood. And if you're angry, it's okay to let it out, especially using these huddle sounds. You're sharing all of the emotions with less words, less triggers, less danger. And if your partner's angry, meet them there. Use these huddle sounds. Uh-huh. You're angry. I'm angry. We're in this together. You're training your nervous systems to be safe with each other in emotional connection. And now you don't feel like you're alone. You don't feel like you're against each other. Emotional connection comes from understanding that you are on the same side, on the same team. And these things take practice. And the huddle is your practice. You are creating the connection that you can feel, nervous system to nervous system. And that's what heals. In less than 2 weeks, Joe said, "Now we love the huddle. We fight less, we laugh more." And Jane said, "We huddle every day, more than once. We do it in the living room, we do it in the bedroom." Now, instead of losing their relationship or losing themselves in their relationship, she started feeling connected with herself and secure with him. And now, instead of avoiding her, Joe leads her in a huddle and it regulates both of them. The truth is, it was a disconnection that was causing her anxiety. But they learned what to do and how to do it, not by talking about it, not by working on it, but simply by spending 20 seconds a day connecting. Everything starts with a huddle because emotional connection is the foundation of your relationship. And your relationship is the foundation that you build the rest of your life on. And when you feel secure and connected, understood, and loved, it shows. The truth that Joe and Jane and most couples miss is that you chose each other because you think you see the world the same. But in reality, you're two different people on the same team with different points of view and emotional needs. And that's why the more they tried talking about it, the further that they felt. When they started with emotional connection that you could feel first, everything changed. And when you feel like you're on the same side again, who takes out the trash? Who cares? Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and give me a like. Let me know in the comments, do you fight? What have you tried? Has it helped? Or leave me a heart in your favorite color, because I'm Amy Color and I would love to know that you're here. You've just learned about emotional connection. In the intimacy game plan, that is step 1 of my 4-step program. It's a proven system that I created to help couples go from roommates to playmates in about 6 weeks. Not by talking about it, not by working on it, but by learning how to actually connect emotionally and physically. Intimacy isn't something you hope for, it's something that you practice. It's not woo-woo, it's science. I've merged my certifications in couples and sex therapy, my research in neuroscience, my practice in tantra with sports strategy, so that you can be partners and lovers for life. You'll find links below to learn more or to talk directly to me. Share me with someone that you love, and in the meantime, stay connected to yourself, each other, and me. And I'll see you soon. Sound good? Mm-hmm.